A number of ancient extra-biblical writings on the prophet Enoch have striking parallels with what Latter-day Saints find in the Book of Moses. Studying some of these parallels can provide a compelling reason to believe that Joseph Smith's revelations in the Book of Moses were reproducing something authentically ancient. While the Old Testament only has a few sparse verses about Enoch, Moses 6 and 7 give Latter-day Saints additional background and a unique perspective on this great prophet. In later Jewish and Christian writings, Enoch becomes primarily known as a scribe, often in judgment settings, a teacher of wisdom, a mediator between mortals and heaven, and an elevated celestial figure. Enoch received many sweeping visions of God's creations and the unfolding of his salvation history among his children. Much of this conforms well to what Latter-day Saints believe about Enoch through the Book of Moses and other restoration scripture. Before we dive into specific parallels, we should establish what we know about Enoch through the Bible. Pretty much the only thing the Old Testament says about Enoch is that he walked with God and he was not, for God took him. Most readers of the Bible, including Latter-day Saints, interpret this to mean that Enoch was such a righteous individual that God took him up to heaven without tasting death, much like Elijah would in 2 Kings chapter 2. The New Testament adds further clarification on Enoch's story. In the Gospel of Luke, Enoch is listed as the 7th patriarch in Luke's genealogy of Jesus. According to Hebrews 11, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and he's held up as an example of someone who pleased God through his faith. The Epistle of Jude even contains a quotation attributed to him. And Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, "Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him." So if all you had was the Bible, this would be very little to go off of. However, there are other ancient texts outside of the canonized Bible that speak about Enoch. In fact, that quotation from Jude we just read comes from one of these extra-canonical texts, 1 Enoch. 1 Enoch is probably the most well-known of these extra-biblical writings attributed to Enoch. 1 Enoch is a composite book of about 5 different texts dating between the 3rd century BC and the 1st century AD. And there's some similar content between what we find in the Book of Moses and 1 Enoch. For example, in both 1 Enoch and the Book of Moses, Enoch was transfigured in the presence of God and prostrated himself before the Lord prior to the Lord speaking to him. In addition, both texts refer to the Son of Man, a book of remembrance, Noah's Ark, and Enoch weeping over the wickedness of mankind. And if you're curious to learn more about some of these parallels between these accounts, be sure to check out the links in the description below. Additional parallels can be found in other ancient Jewish texts, all of which were discovered after Joseph Smith had recorded the Book of Moses. For example, 2nd Enoch, recovered and published in 1899, recounts how Enoch was initiated into the heavenly realm and was clothed in the garments of my glory. Similar to how in Moses 7, Enoch beheld the heavens opened and also was clothed upon with glory. In Moses chapter 6, verse 31, Enoch refers to himself as a lad for his youth and ineptitude at speaking. In 3rd Enoch 4, Enoch similarly declares, "Because I was the youngest among them and a lad amongst them with respect to days, months, and years, therefore they called me lad." In 1948, a fragmentary Aramaic manuscript from the Dead Sea Scrolls called the Book of Giants was discovered. It features a number of parallels with the Book of Moses, the most intriguing of which is a similarly named character. In Moses chapter 6, verse 40, a man named Mahijah, possibly spelled Mahujah in Moses 7, questioned Enoch about his prophetic message. In the Book of Giants, a man named Mahujah, or Mahaweh in some manuscripts, likewise came to ask Enoch questions about visions. Then all the Giborim and the NEPHilim called to Mahujah, and he came to them. They implored him and sent him to Enoch, the celebrated scribe, and they said to him, "Go and tell him to explain to you and interpret the dream." When viewed together, the parallels between the Book of Moses and other ancient texts can strengthen confidence that Joseph Smith was indeed a prophet. Several striking details in the Book of Moses reflect an ancient understanding about the prophet Enoch, many of which weren't widely known or published in English until well after Joseph Smith revealed the Book of Moses. Most importantly, though, the Book of Moses restores plain and precious truths about the ancient prophet Enoch. Enoch was a mighty prophet who walked before God with perfect righteousness. According to John Taylor, Enoch was a remarkable man and had a special mission to the people in his day, and he was full of the spirit of prophecy and revelation. Studying the Book of Moses and other ancient texts with the spirit of discernment can bring readers closer to this ancient prophet and unlock insights into the everlasting gospel that Enoch preached.